And granted, maybe it's kind of proof of like, okay, an Assassin's Creed game in the modern day isn't possible because
you fuckers hate your yellow paint.
You couldn't, yeah, they couldn't get it to work here.
This is why we made the yellow paint.
Yep. Yep.
Desmond, why? Why, Desmond? Why would you do this to me?
No. Also, I want to point out that I think probably one of the biggest requirements for being an assassin is like you have to have the best grip strength in the world.
You need to do arm day every day.
You need to do the fucking like, what was it? I remember hearing like Dwayne Johnson's like recommended for like grip strength is doing pull-ups with a towel while holding a towel instead and doing pull-ups that way.
And not sure. Can you repeat what you just said? I had to turn the lights off because it was glaring in my TV, so I couldn't actually see what was happening.
So, like I think like Dwayne Johnson has this recommendation of like one of the best ways that like he will like work on grip strength is doing pull-ups by holding a towel. So like, you would put a towel around the bar. Each end of the towel you hold in your hands, and you're doing pull-ups like that.
Huh. Well, I'm not really great at pull-ups in general, so.
No. Oh, I would totally admit I can't do pull-ups that well. But I
can do push-ups, but not pull-ups.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, where do we go from here? Here? Okay, we do go here. We do go here.
No, the fucking grip strength you need to do any of this fucking climbing, which still at times just feels like these are just spider people.
Yeah, for real.
Oh man. I mean, but hey, fuck it.
You're ready. But wait for my
do the faith from all the way up here.
Timing's really important here. Too soon or too late, and you'll miss the building.
I think I missed something. They're making him do this. Why?
To infiltrate a building to get an artifact.
Okay. There was no other way in. You gotta do this. And yeah, like,
now,
I could see how trying to render a full-size, like, modern city in the way that
did a leap of faith, now we have a parachute.
The way that, like, previous games, like, modeled cities before, where, yeah, like Rome and the Middle East and all that stuff, like, yeah, that's probably easier to flesh out an entire full big map like that, but like trying to do a city like this on 360 PlayStation 3 hardware may not have
that would be a little much. Although I guess they did eventually get Watch Dogs working on PS3 350 hardware, so
yeah, so
it's not that unreasonable.
No, so and again, it's just like, yeah, the fact that like Watch Dogs exists really blows so many holes into the arguments of dipshits that would say that, like, no, they can't do modern-day Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
hey,
it's that guy from the comics.
But I guess your kind doesn't have many options these days.
I forgot about.
Who are you?
Yeah, Daniel Cross, who was like a temple, like an assassin who was brainwashed by the Templars or something.
Which makes perfect sense that his last name is Cross.
To kill you, but the boss man didn't say anything about fucking you up.
Well, he's not supposed to kill him.
So you got to the counter.
Ouch.
Get fucked.
Chris Cross, trophy earned.
Ahaha. If only there was some applesauce.
So who the hell is Daniel Cross?
Believe it or not, he used to be an assassin. The assassin, the way I've heard it told, but it turned out he was a sleeper agent for Abstergo, programmed to infiltrate and destroy the organization.
How did he know you were there? We could be compromised.
They must have caught me snooping inside their network and sent Cross to see what we were after. If they were aware of our current location, we'd know.
Oh, so this is your fault, Sean.
Doesn't bode very well for future expeditions.
I've set up some cameras topside. If anyone shows up, we'll see it.
This
I'd
feels like a
suggest you go see about
compromise.
finding a socket for that power source.
This is like
or
this
we
is
can return to
trying
Connor
to
if you prefer.
soothe people like me
All
who
the
wanted
artifacts
the
in the world
Assassin's
won't mean a
Creed
thing
3
without
that
the
was
key.
all about Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
But like getting the worst of all possible worlds as a result. This is such a compromise. It's hard to like
Son,
to deal with that.
Like, and the
I
thing
owe
is,
you
I
an
wanted
apology.
it too. It was
I
just
shouldn't
when I
have
saw
lashed
the
out
reviews
like
come
that.
out for this, I was like, oh,
You have to understand, I've never been very good
Oh.
at this.
I'm not gonna get
Never
the
mind
game
that
that
we
I
live rather
wanted.
Extraordinary
That
lives.
stinks.
Yeah.
And the thing was,
I
like,
kind of liked my ordinary
I wasn't
one.
even put off by like, oh,
You
now we're gonna
can't
do
escape
Colonial
who
America.
you
You
are,
play the Native
Desmond.
American assassin. That sounds dope.
So I've
Same.
noticed.
I felt that would be a cool idea. I just
Look,
not what I wanted.
it's silly for us to
Nope.
go back and forth like this. I admit,
Nope.
I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you.
You're my son. I love you.
I guess I
didn't
was
mean
so busy
to
trying
be
to
hard
make
on
sure
you.
nothing
It's just,
bad
you
happened,
know,
I didn't consider the
The
consequences.
world is
I
possibly
don't have an
gonna end.
ideology, so I can't. I don't have like
Truth
a system of beliefs to support.
So I mean,
I can't believe it's
isn't the whole
taken me
thing
so
with the
long to
assassin
ask,
when
but
it comes to like the assassin
How's
ideology is like,
she's not.
Everything is
No, no,
free,
no, your
nothing is
mother
permitted.
fine.
Nothing is
We
true. Everything's
decided
permitted.
it was safer if
Okay,
we
nothing
split
is
up.
true.
That's the.
Always assuming the
But
worst.
like, and
good
Ezio has a
reason.
good explanation of what that
Can I
means.
at least say hi to her?
But that's not like an ideology.
I'm sorry,
That's like
it's too
a
risky.
recommendation.
Maybe when we're done.
Yeah.
Like, the
When we're
assassins are more or less just like not Templar,
Yeah.
but beyond that, there's not a lot actually there.
And
Like, what does it mean to defend free will? What does that mean?
usually it would mean, well, stop the people that want to enslave
Have
us.
we ever tried to make peace with the Templars?
Throughout our history, there have been
I don't
moments.
know.
Several, in fact. But it's impossible. There are
Yeah, there's been
existential
moments, all right.
differences, insurmountable.
Especially like
Yeah, you
If
just
there
play
were to
Unity,
be
right?
It wouldn't be a truth
with the
so
hindsight
much
of Unity,
as a submission.
where it was like,
But knowing what's about to happen,
it's like
wouldn't
on
it make
both
sense
sides,
to try and talk to
if
Vidic?
any-
Come
like,
to an
you know,
arrangement, even if it's only
not
temporary?
really a slight spoiler, but it's like if
We'd all be so
anybody
busy
on
watching
either
our backs,
side
nothing would get
wanted to
accomplished.
say, "Hey, what if we just stop
Imagine
murdering
that.
each
We're
other
more
for a while,
productive at
huh?
war.
What if we just did that?"
Well, have we ever
And
tried
somebody
sending in
was gonna
someone?
say, "Fuck you,"
Doing
you
to
should
them
be
what they did to
fucking
us with
dead.
Lucy? Or Cross?
Like,
We have, and it's never worked.
oh gosh.
We've sent people
Like,
who were either
I feel
too
like there
weak
has been
and
more
found themselves
honesty
turned,
and
or too
there-
strong
there's
and were
a
unable to
there's a
carry
film
out
that
the
came out
charade.
that quickly became one of my
Just
favorite
feel
holiday
like
movies.
we all want the same thing.
On Netflix called
We
Klaus.
use the same words, but that's all they
And-
are, words.
and
In
that
the
movie
end, it all
has,
comes
like,
down to freedom. We
just
seek
these
it,
two
they
families
detest
that
it.
just constantly
And so
feud
there's
with
never
each
an end
other,
to the fight.
and they
Not
even
until
they
one side
even
is
admit
completely gone.
they're like, yeah, we fight each other just
that
for the
even
sake of
possible?
fighting each other.
Probably not.
Like it'd be
Like Desmond
Our
here
two
is talking
groups
about
have
how like we
existed in
just
one
all
form or
want
another
peace. We want to be
since-
peaceful in the
well,
end. We want
since forever.
peace and harmony and
things
all
can
that in
be
the end.
better
Both
than they
sides,
are.
right? We both want
and
that.
that's something.
And like because Desmond is the protagonist, we're like supposed to like treat his word as like kind of like gospel. But that's stupid. It's actually stupid. I'm sorry. There
like,
are differences between slavery and not slavery.
Yeah, there is, and it's also the thing of
It's very not
When we
complicated.
thought we could be saved, we sought
yes,
to face the
absolutely.
sun's wrath
Like,
and
and again,
contain
like
it.
moral ambiguity has.
Four towers would be
and
built
again, they try to do
pull
that
her
bullshit
fury
with
into
this
this
intro,
place and dispel
but
it.
the idea. The idea, oh,
But
there's good
even
and bad
with all
on
we
both
knew,
sides. It's like, go
with
fuck
all
yourself.
we had,
Yeah,
it
like
would take
Desmond
too
is the
long.
enlightened centrist that Ubisoft
1,000
loves so
years
much.
we could labor and
Yeah.
still
They
the
love
work
this
would
trope,
not be
by
done.
the way. They love doing it. They did it in Far Cry. They did it in Far Cry multiple times in Far Cry.
The first
They did
tower
Assassin's
was
Creed
never
constantly,
completed.
multiple times Assassin's
The project
Creed.
abandoned.
It's something they love doing.
We moved
Especially
on.
this era of Ubisoft love
But
doing
while we
this.
labored on other endeavors,
It's like,
a few
oh,
returned.
there is
They
no.
thought to honor
This is what I
their
mean by
cause.
when I say there's no ideology.
Metal might
it's like,
finish what flesh could not.
we both want peace. What does that mean?
Like, there are some times where there is no sitting on the fence. It really is no. there is a right side to this. Get off the goddamn fence. And if you want to continue to sit on the fence, fuck you, I'll shove that fence up your ass. If you still want to act like that's the moral high ground.
I know, like it's vexing. And like it's people like because getting protagonist and like Sean, the quote unquote smart guy. And I don't know where it is. There's a conversation where Sean is like, "Hey,
when this is all over,
like Desmond, you ever think?"
I'd like to try and turn the
Desmond's
dial
like,
back on the animus.
You ever think about how
All the
like
way
we
back
indoctrinate our own people
to the time of the first civilization?
to not be indoctrinated, and how that's kind of like an indoctrination of
there was
himself?
no real loss of fidelity
Sean,
when you visited Altair.
he goes, "Yeah, you're
Then
right.
again, that
That's
was about
very,
1,000
very
years ago.
smart of you, Desmond. I
We're
didn't
going
think
back at least
about that."
70,000
And I
more.
sit there going,
Sure, I'd be up for it.
"Dude, the
interesting
paradox
to
of
see what things were like
tolerance
back then.
is a tired
Excellent.
and boring
I think it would prove
exercise.
most enlightening.
This is baby's first philosophy. What the fuck are we doing here?"
So this is how it started.
What are you up to?
Just brushing up on my
Yeah.
American history. I say history. They certainly teach us
Yeah.
strange things in the States.
Like what?
Well,
Gosh,
for all the talk
man,
of this
and,
being a revolutionary war, it was a civil
Especially
war.
like
Well,
you
not
bring
that
up Far
kind of
Cry.
civil. I mean, there was
Far
no
Cry
America versus
5
Britain.
went
It was
so
Brit
far
on
as
Brit
to say,
action.
like,
And you can clearly see how the whole thing got started. One war gave
yeah,
birth
like Far
to the
Cry
other.
5 went so
mean the
far
7
as
Years
to say,
War?
like,
Exactly.
hey,
Seems
you
the
know the
Crown
far-right
overspent
cult
to keep the
leader?
French
He's
out.
actually right.
What
What if
Weight
he had a
of debt.
point? And I remember an
Believing that the
Ubisoft PR
colonists
rep
should
going,
help
we
shoulder
think
the
that's
burden,
really
new
cool.
taxes were
Like the
created.
bad guy might have a
It was
point.
a reasonable
You
request.
do, huh?
And I'm like,
Even if Parliament was rather
dog, we're
undiplomatic
talking about
it.
a fucking
Well, it's
like,
not really fair to tax people for a war they didn't want
neo-Nazi
any part
coded ass
of.
motherfucker.
What?
Yes.
What are you trying
Do
to
you
tell
not
me?
notice
What are you
George
trying to tell me,
Washington with
Ubisoft
Edward
PR
Braddock?
rep?
He was right there in the
And
middle of it.
especially like
So
that
here
was a
you
game
have
that
the
kind of
Crown
came out
spending
during like Trump's
who knows
first
how much money
term.
to
I had a
secure a place
friend
for the colonists
who
to
was also a
thrive, and
PR rep
then,
at
when they
Ubisoft
asked for
at the
a little bit
time,
of help,
telling me,
well,
please
think of it this
keep
way.
talking about
King
this
George
because
and the
I need
colonists,
the ammo.
they all go out to dinner, right? And when the bill comes, George asks for
Yeah.
them to kick in.
They
and
are
pay
no
their
longer working
share.
at Ubisoft,
Fair
by
enough.
the way.
Keep in mind, he's been taking them out to dinner
Good on him.
gratis
We
for
reconnected
decades
a couple
now.
weeks
The
ago.
colonists, oh no, they insist they only had a glass of water and a side salad.
Yeah,
Never mind the table's full of
sounds
half-eaten
like
food and empty bottles
not
of
too many
wine.
people are going to continue to
When
have
the
a
king
job
points
there.
this out, what do the colonists
Way
do?
things are going.
Oh, they flip the
It's
table
every
over and they
industry, though.
storm
It's
out
not
the
even just
restaurant.
Ubisoft.
I mean,
Probably
yeah,
intending to
it's
turn later and burn it
yeah.
down.
You left
But,
out the part where the king pointed a gun at the colonists and asked them to
pretty
cover
bad.
dinner for everyone in the
Yep.
restaurant.
It's fucked.
Right, yeah, interesting take.
Um,
If he pulled out a gun, and I'm not sure he did, it would only have been after the 100th failed attempt at getting them
you
to
were
pay
saying?
their fair share.
But how do you
Moral
define
ambiguity.
someone's fair share?
Like,
Oh, well, with a war.
I thought of a
apparently.
really good example. Like, the idea of trying to say, well, what if both sides have a point? You know, what side are you gonna be on then? And it's like, when I think of it was the third Captain America film, Civil War specifically, and how
The MCU has its own problems with this. That's a whole separate debate, but go ahead.
I know, but like, the thing you can kind of give credit to that movie
I know
for
everyone thinks I'm
is
being
that
silly, but I can't shake the
it
feeling we're being
wasn't
watched.
really clearly
We are being watched.
like,
by Juno.
oh, you're either
Or
for one
some
side or the
version of
other,
her.
but like,
Do you think it's a
you could look
recording?
at both sides
Or
and
is
say,
she a
well,
ghost?
there
Or
are some good
something
points
else?
suggested by
Is she
both.
talking to us the
and
way
why
Minerva talked to Ezio?
There are some good reasons why there are
No clue.
people two sides
I mean,
of
who
this
knows what
argument.
else they were working on down here? There's still so many
That's
rooms we don't
not
have
here.
access to.
But also, like with Civil War, like you have the
Do you
the
think
whole
she's like literally
industrial,
down here,
like military
waiting
industrial complex,
somewhere, still alive?
Because the Pentagon funded a lot of MCU movies early on,
Oh yeah,
and because of that, like the whole MCU is military coded, and there's no way that cannot be like that
They
cannot be
came
revoked.
down here looking
That's
for a way to
true.
survive.
Yeah.
Maybe they found one.
in a way that like comic books aren't.
Was it
Yeah,
weird seeing Cross?
What do you mean?
I mean, and granted,
It's
it was like
different for you.
you know,
You
again,
don't
the
know
whole
about what
argument
happened,
of like,
I
you know,
guess.
should people with
For a long time,
superpowers
he was
be,
important to us. He
regulated
was a
and
different
like,
person.
and especially of like, one
Sean
side
said he
basically
was a
saying there
sleeper
has to be
agent,
accountability,
like Lucy.
and then the other side saying no,
It was different.
we should
She
not
made a
have
choice,
any kind of
but
overhead.
Cross, if you read the
And-
files, Abstergo just
But
they did terrible things to him.
For the record, I was still on Captain
Rebecca?
America's side, so take that as you will.
You're lucky. We all are. We have people
I'm
who
not
care
surprised to
about
hear
us,
that.
who look out for us.
Because there were
He was all
clearly
alone,
some times
and the
where I
people he
could
thought
say,
he
it's like,
could
I get what you're
trust.
trying to say, Tony.
I'm not
you
a
also
big
fuck-
fan of the government.
Did you know him?
I'm not a big fan of the government.
No, but I knew Hannah.
I get what you're saying, Tony, but at the same
Who's
time,
that?
hey, go fuck yourself.
She tried to help him. She trusted him. But there was a raid about a year ago. She stayed behind so the others could escape.
We're
Tried to
learning about
reason with
Daniel
him
Cross's
to see if she
betrayal.
could fix things.
Yeah,
What happened?
the way they make it sound is that
What do you think happened?
he was a
killed
temper
her.
sleeper agent
That's
from
what
the
he does.
start.
Yeah, he
That's
was
all he knows how to
like
do.
brainwashed with the Animus.
Sometimes it seems like that's
He
all
didn't even
any
know
of
it
us
was
how to
super
do.
until he was activated.
Rebecca.
Yeah. That whole chestnut.
All right, enough talking.
Good
about
luck,
shit.
Desmond.
Time to go back to the actual
The-
meat of the story,
Good
because
thing
Ubisoft
these
are
are troubled
cowards and
times.
refuse to acknowledge that Desmond was
The already
important for this
uneasy
lore.
alliance between the crown
Yeah,
and its
like-
subjects frays. And behind them
Good
both
thing
the
that good thing
Templars
they've got this
plot,
really comfortable
pulling
rock for him
strings and
to
moving
be on while
pieces.
he's doing all this shit.
History
It is
dictates
funny
they
that they
seek
just
order
drew the
and
Animus onto a
control.
rock.
But how will they affect
Yeah,
it here?
like-
Who supports them? And what
I
conspiracies
feel like-
have they already spun?
I feel like your back would be a little
All
fucked
these
up
things I must
if you
Unless
spent
it's a
too many
very,
hours on
very
that.
well
For only
polished
by
rock.
knowing my enemy can I hope to stop them.
Connor,
Like sitting on like that hard of a surface,
Spare a
no
moment.
cushioning or anything.
Yeah.
Of course.
have a look.
You can only do that when your video game protagonist doesn't have
What
to
is it?
actually think about practical concerns.
A Xingbao, or rope dart if you prefer.
Yeah,
One of the many plans given to us by
Oh,
Xiao
Xiao
Jun.
Jun gave us this.
Hell yeah, she did.
We'll have to work on this.
Some good shit.
I like he has a ponytail now that he needs to
He-
put on because it needs to fit under his hood.
Like he looks way better.
Ganondogo,
Yes, my friend.
what brings you here?
Oh,
Is the
hey,
village
can I
all
talk
right?
on?
Yeah.
For now.
What do you mean? What has
Now it's
happened?
Connor. They
Men
changed
came,
subtitles when he
claiming we
gets the
had
robe
to
to
leave.
see.
They said that the land was
Right.
being sold and that the Confederacy had consented. We sent an envoy, but they would not listen.
You must refuse.
We cannot oppose the Sachem, but you're
is the
right
Civil
as
War
well.
happening
We
at this
cannot
moment, or-
give up our home.
Civil War, the Revolution
You
War
have a
happened.
name. Do you
Okay,
know
then-
who is responsible?
He is called William Johnson,
Where is Johnson now?
in Boston, making preparations for the sale.
Sale! This is theft!
Connor, take care. These men are powerful.
Yeah, William
What would
Johnson,
you have
I think
me
if I
do?
remember right, he was also one
I
of...
made a promise to my people.
He's one of the targets.
Yeah.
If you insist upon this course of action, seek out Sam Adams in Boston. He'll be able to help.
Sam Adams. Always a good
What have
decision.
you done?
When my people go to war, a hatchet is buried into a post to signify its start. When the threat is ended, the hatchet is removed.
You could have used a tree.
I do like that, they did consult with actual Mohawk tribesmen for these customs, and
Uh-huh.
it's a cool little detail.
It's sick as shit.
It's like how in Revelations they actually call them Romani and not the G word. In a time where that was not common.
Oh.
If you
No.
don't know, you don't know. And if you do
Nope.
know, you know.
Learn your motherfucking history.
If you watched Hunchback of Notre Dame, Esmeralda is a Romani. That is what you should be using that term. Not the term they used in that movie.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, for all of their faults, these games actually do a pretty good job at remaining true to their historical periods, even if they're obviously works of fiction.
Yeah, granted. Because we keep hearing about it. Just seems like, boy, they run into a lot of problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows, but we'll find out more about that one.
Well, Yasuke is a real person. I will but I think the problem was with the buildings. I think people objected to.
There's a lot of shit that people were pointing at, and the architecture and the like, and it's like maybe there's a reason why they waited so long to pull the trigger on Assassin's Creed in Japan, because they were maybe a little,
they didn't
know
ignorant enough to comfortably do it.
Nope.
That makes way more sense.
Granted, me personally, I mean, because yeah, like when they tackle stuff like 1860s London, French Revolutionary France,
I would hope that a company based in France would know about the French Revolution.
Fuck yes, it's like that should like and again these European settings of like.
I'm just fast traveling as much as I can. I do not want to fucking run through these areas.
Oh, don't you love going through these fucking sandboxes?
No.
That have
I am in my
so much stuff in them.
In my advanced age of 31 years old, I prefer very linear directed experiences these days. In my super advanced 31 years old age. I think I think when we met, you were my age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's true. I'm gonna say that, and maybe this is unfair, but having recently gone through Unity and Syndicate, I actually did love going around, those cities. And I mean, hell, going around, frickin' Rome and Italy and
Rome and Italy are smaller maps. Like if you look at like a typical map in AC2, they're actually relatively small.
Are you trying to tell me that a smaller map that's more dense is better than a bigger map?
As someone who plays a lot of Hitman, I am saying exactly that. Someone who has played a lot of Hitman in my day, especially for assassination games, yeah, I'm saying exactly that.
Yeah, like I feel like there was a lot of games that made the mistake of like, look how big and open this map is. Yeah, but like, what can you do in it? Well, you see that mountain? You can go there, and it's like, and is there anything on the top? Is there anything at the mountain? Is there anything interesting between me and the mountain?
Listen, we've all climbed the top of Mount Chiliad. We've all had that friend who loves empty skyboxes, and tells you, you should buy GTA 5 and just climb the top of Mount Chiliad. Right? Because it's there. You've all had that friend. I assume everyone in Twitch chat has had that friend. Come on, Twitch chat, shout out.
I feel like there was also like the idea of like you see that you can go there.
About more than a sternly worded letter.
But
I sympathize.
Yeah, Jack and Daxter, Precursor Legacy. Yeah, so exactly.
It's not really fun to just go there.
What brings you to Boston?
And granted,
when you
look at something
fellows?
like Spider-Man, like any given Spider-Man game after Spider-Man 2, that was just about like
that conversation.
You can't really do too much in the city, but web swing.
Now,
but web swing.
What can I do for you?
Really fucking
I was hoping
fun.
you could help me locate William Johnson.
Of course. I'm headed to a meeting with some men who should be able to help. Why don't you come along? It's good to see the people finally taking a stand against injustice.
So Samuel Adams gonna help us find this person who is selling off Native American land.
Says the man who owns a slave.
I don't know. Is it a little depressing that like most people only know the name Sam Adams
what I
because
preach,
of fucking
my friend.
beer?
She's not a slave, but a freed woman, at least on paper.
And not,
Men's minds
for
are not
his
so
actual
easily
historical
turned.
contribution.
It's a tragedy that for all our progress, still we cling to such barbarism.
Yeah.
Then speak out against it.
We must focus first on defending our rights.
Like I keep cracking.
When this is done, we'll have the luxury of addressing these other matters.
Like
you speak as though your condition is equal to that of the slaves. It is not.
It's funny, is not the right word.
Tell
but
that to my neighbor who was compelled to quarter British troops, or to my friend whose store was closed because he displeased the crown. The people here are no freer
and where
than
it was
Surrey.
open.
You offer excuses
that
instead of solutions. All people.
Oh, I got cut off.
It's my home. No
I wanted to finish the conversation.
Say.
Oh shit!
I was about to say. Well, you sound like you're offering excuses, not solutions. To this problem.
Themselves. It's not open
it's like,
for
well,
now. Open this door.
I have some news about how British colonialists behave.
Bollocks, we're coming in.
Oh boy.
I trust the mounting evidence is proof enough, Connor.
Continue on.
I shall meet you at our destination.
3 pence a pound this morning. Is that all you have?
Yeah, like Connor's outfit
Use some support.
looks dope. Full of like, granted, like not to, like I'm not shitting on like his original Native American attire too much, but like
he was clearly designed with this outfit in mind.
Yes, like his assassin robes and everything.
For
like it's such a unique look, which is saying a lot considering.
Yeah.
Like after Ezio.
You all right? I'm fine. It's not my first dance.
Because Ezio had the fucking
teeth and claws.
grip.
These little foxes, they fight like puppies.
And again, like this outfit is.
Thank you, my friend.
You know, I like there's some Native American force on his outfit too.
Nail,
like you see the arm.
Yeah, there is.
I'm expecting some.
I like I didn't notice that the first time I played this game. That's actually really fucking cool.
It's great. It's fucking great. I think there's even like.
I also like that the hatchet has the assassin symbol on it.
Yeah, that was the thing I even noticed back then. Like yeah, like the one arm band, like he's got the feathers and stuff. Like it's a really good design.
Yeah, it's solid. It's 100% solid.
Granted, you might feel a little weird putting that costume on with later protagonists because they give you these suits like so many times.
Yeah.
In later games.
I also like one of the things I like about the early protagonists. They start to lose this later on. Is the hood. I like the hood because it's shaped like an eagle.
Yeah, it's
deliberately.
Yes, absolutely. Like there's a reason. There's a reason.
We're killing the tax collectors. No taxation with the representation.
Fuck them. You know, laws made by mistake. I can still, I still remember like one of my favorite Beatles songs written by George Harrison, which I think is just called Taxman. And if you haven't heard it, I do recommend giving it a listen. This was somebody complaining about taxes in Britain in the 1960s, and how much it holds up today in other countries.
Yeah. I've started figuring out how to flank this engine.
Yeah, now that you've got more stuff worth it. Like, the optional objectives in this game felt like so much more of a pain in the ass compared to other games. And I don't know what it was. It seemed like you could do the mission well, but still fuck up the optionals, like, through no fault of your own.
It was a lot. It was that way in the original, and like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations 2. Like that's unfortunately not new to this.
Because I can't remember how bad it was in like the Black Flag. Unity and Syndicate, I feel like the optional ones was bad, and there was some stuff that like kind of made you like, okay, challenge yourself a little bit in a fun way. But some of the optional, like, I would say, no, that optional objective is fucking solved. I've tried, man. And oh boy, just fucking rolled over. We're already an hour in.
Yeah.
Time flies when things that are interesting happen.
Seems like it, yeah. Shit. I don't know how I fight those fucking the general looking dudes.
Isn't there like? Can you like break the?
Well, breaking their defenses gets me parried and hit. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's always that what I'm supposed to do with those fuckers.
There's always that one enemy type that's like a massive pain in the ass.
It started actually in Revelations with Janissaries, because that wasn't always the case.
Right, and it's like
because like in 1 and 2 and even Brotherhood, like the Hidden Blade counter was the one to kill on literally everyone in the game.
Yeah, and it's like this enemy do this enemy do this, but then those motherfuckers show up, and it's like, what do you want me to do, game? Like,
exactly. Like that is a problem I'm coming up with fairly consistently now.
Fuck Marauders. All I'm gonna say. Looking at you, Doom Eternal. If any enemy type shows up like that in Doom Dark Ages, I'm turning that game down.
I believe they did say that the Mars are coming back in Doom Eternal.
I'm turning that game
Connor,
down to easy.
I'd like you to
I'm
meet
not
some
playing it on normal.
like-minded
Fuck
friends.
'em.
The owner of this fine establishment, William Molyneux, and the manager
I'll
and
play
chef
that game
of
on
this
Steam.
venture, Stéphane Chaffeau.
Stéphane Chaffeau.
Connor and I just had a ball with some red coats enforcing some taxmen outside my home.
The collectors grow bolder and more forceful. Something we must address, Samuel.
Then let us raise a banner.
Man, I cooked earlier.
Something to let the people know that they are not alone.
And it's
the
great.
docks are an angry place of late. Protesters picketing the latest shipments
tea
of
party
British
in Boston?
tea. The eyes of the city are upon that stage.
Connor was there for the Boston Tea Party,
beast.
Chris.
William Johnson
wouldn't
is
he
smuggling
be?
the tea off the ships. One of his men tried to sell me
and
this.
the Boston Massacre.
A sample of what I refused. But it's from those ships. No mistaking the stamp.
I'm
He's
sure
charging a
eventually
king's ransom.
he'll be
Must be
consulting
he's making
on
a
how
mint
the
off those who
fucking
buy it.
Where is he now?
how Mount Rushmore
I've never met
gets
the man.
May I ask why you seek him, Connor?
He intends to purchase the land upon which my village stands, without the consent of my people.
No doubt the revenue from his little
Doesn't Connor
smuggling
actually,
endeavor
like,
is financing the acquisition.
He's also there signing the Declaration of
Tax
Independence.
enforcement.
I believe he is.
grants
Like, I
approval.
will get to that, but I believe he is there
I'll
for the
wager
signing
the
of that.
same men who levy the taxes are selling the tea. A stage requires a spectacle, and I may know the play.
The fun thing of like historical fiction of like, hey, look, our OC was at this historical
And the funny thing
event.
is, like,
Head back to the
it's
docks
not any
and
different
see
from what
to the
Ezio does. The difference is that we are more familiar with this history than we were with Renaissance Italy.
Yeah.
It's no different than like going into Da Vinci's house and saying hi.
Like it's funny that like, you know, not only does he meet Da Vinci, but he also meets Machiavelli.
Yeah.